Hello, welcome back to Off Grid Style. I'm Nikki, and I was sitting here chewing on my cheese sandwich for lunch while I checked out what was going on around the world and looking for new ideas. And I came upon this article. Americans need an extra average of $11,500 a year to afford the same quality of life they enjoyed in 2021. This is really interesting, and I think we finally are getting an idea of exactly how bad things are with our economy. Because if you listen to the powers that be, everything's fine. But what this company, or whoever it was that did this, did was they took and compared the prices of everyday essentials, including food, housing, energy, and transportation, in October of this year versus January of 2021. And that is where they came up with this huge disparity. You're talking about almost $12,000 per family, per household, difference in cost because they took into account housing, energy, and all of those things, which the adjusted inflation rates that we get told to us all the time don't take those things into account. That's why they're not nearly as high as we all feel like they are. So this information actually came from the U.S. Senate Joint Economic Committee. So it actually came from the government in its own way. It came from the Senate. Colorado residents pay the most right now, almost $15,000 extra to afford the same quality of life that they had in 2021. Arkansas is the lowest at about $8,500 for the year to have the same type of quality of life they did in 2021. And it was funny, right before I came in to record this to you, after I saw it, I walked past the TV and a major news network had just broken this news. So, hey, I'm kind of right up there with them. I thought that was kind of cool. Anyway, so the figures compare the prices of everyday essentials, including food, housing, energy, and transportation, in October of this year and January of 2021, before inflation began to soar, even though they've told us that inflation hasn't soared. It's fine. It's good. So in June of 2022, the annual rate of inflation hit a 40-year high of 9.1%, which sent all of our costs for everything skyrocketing. It has since cooled, falling to a 3.2% annual rate in the latest figures from October, but it is still above the Fed's 2% target. Now, keep in mind, those numbers are taking out a lot of things that we pay for. As an example, housing, energy, they take those things out to make the numbers look better. The Fed does. It's an adjusted inflation rate. And they do that because they want their numbers to look better. According to government data, there has been a 17% increase in inflation since January of 2021, and only a 13.6% rise in average hourly pay for the same period of time. Well, that kind of sucks. That means that we're not even keeping up with the true cost of living in how much people are being paid. I have a map that I'm going to share with you somewhere in this video that shows you exactly what states are the worst and what states are less so, as far as the amounts that each is having to pay additionally to keep up the same cost of living they had in 2021. Let's see, Colorado is the highest of any state, but Utah's right there with them. They're not far behind, so you'll get to see that. Americans living in Utah, as I said, have the second highest additional expenditures to afford the same standard of living. Theirs is $14.5 thousand. Arizona's third highest, Arkansas's lowest, and Maine and Oklahoma are also in the bottom three as far as cost is concerned, 8,600 and 8,800. So those states aren't quite as bad off. Let's face it, $8,000 is still a crap ton of money, no matter who you are in the average everyday world. So that's a lot of money. The state-by-state variation is due to differences in price of basic living essentials. Um, let's see. Da, 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 da. Oh, the Biden administration, this was funny. The Biden administration called the study flawed and said President Biden is focused on lowering costs for hardworking families. That is so sweet of him. White House spokesman said that per capita disposable income has risen by almost $21,000 since December of 2020, and 14 million more Americans have jobs today than when Biden took office. Okay, well, I need that spokesman to come to my home and show me where that $21,000 in disposable income is, because I don't know where it's at. I can't find it. So I need him to give me a hand with that. That would be very nice of him. Let me know if you find it, if you've got it in your home. Maybe you've got an extra $21,000 you didn't know you had in disposable income just hanging out in your house. Love to hear that. So this same spokesman from the White House, and I'm totally going to butcher his name, Michael Kikukawa, he's the one that said that we all have an extra roughly $21,000 hanging out somewhere. Not sure where, but hey. He says that congressional Republicans are pushing this study, and they won't admit that their proposals would raise costs on the middle class and cut Social Security and Medicare, so they can give rich special interests more tax giveaways. So I guess what he's trying to say is that they're using this study in order to further their own priorities and their own messages, or whatever it might be. A study is a study as far as I'm concerned. Now, I know that you can fudge polls and do things like that, but you really can't fudge how much somebody pays for their housing, their electricity, their car, all of those things, food. You can't really fudge that too much, I wouldn't think. But again, I'm not a statistician. I'm not a mathematician. I'm just a regular everyday girl who's trying to find that $21,000. I hope you like this quick one. Thanks very much. I'll see you in a little while.